Welcome back to the online sessions on AEC. So in today's session, we start with unit number 3 known as oscillators. So in the previous sessions, we have done with the concepts of the negative feedback amplifiers. Now we'll go with the positive feedback amplifiers that is known as oscillators. What is oscillator? Oscillator is an electronic circuit which generates an output AC signal without any externally applied input signal. Externally applied AC input signal is known as an oscillator. Okay. Now, why we require such oscillators? Many electronic circuits are normally going to operate are normally going to have an energy sources for it to operate. Say, for example, if you think about digital circuits, all the digital circuits known as microprocessors or microcontrollers are going to operate with what? Clock signals. So, clock signals are generated by the oscillators. That means the clock signals are known as energy signals for the electronic circuits to operate. For the digital circuit to operate, the clock signal is known as the energy source. Similar to that, for the analog circuits, we need to have analog AC source. So that AC source can be generated. AC signal can be generated or AC source can be provided from the oscillator to the analog electronic circuits. So therefore, we say that many electronic devices require a source of energy at a specific frequency, which may range from a few hertz to several megahertz. Now, this kind of a source of energy can be provided by an electronic circuit known as oscillator. Okay. So an oscillator is a basic element of all the AC sources and generates sinusoidal signals of known frequency and amplitude. So it is very much useful. It is very much used are used as an instrument in the electrical and electronic measurement circuits. So now the applications where we normally going to use these oscillators. This is what we discussed in the last class. So these oscillators normally finds wide applications in various electronic communication equipments, such as transmitters and receivers, radio transmitters, radio receivers. In AM and FM, so amplitude modulation techniques and frequency modulation techniques, we use this oscillator circuits. And in the super heterodyne radio receivers, we use the oscillator circuits to assist in the reduction in getting the aiming the radio frequencies to a lower intermediate frequencies. That means the application is going to be, we use the oscillators in the receiver circuits, in the transmitter circuits. So more or less what we say, an oscillator is nothing but it is normally used to generate a sinusoidal signal without any external applied input signal is known as an oscillator. Okay. Now what is the, when there is no input, how does it operates? So it simply converts unidirectional current drawn from the DC source of supply called VCC into the alternating current of the desired frequency. That means it converts DC energy into the AC energy. That is known as an oscillator. In general, we can say that means oscillator is can be called as a converter from DC to AC as well, or it can be called as energy source to the electronic circuit. Now already we discussed about this block diagram in the previous session, oscillator. Now I've just drawn a block. This block is going to internally this block is normally going to have an oscillator circuit. Now it is going to produce the output signal without any input signal, but it is going to have the DC energy signal, DC input signal. DC is not a signal. You should not consider DC as a signal, because DC is nothing but the operating signal for the electronic circuit to operate. Say for example, our mobile phone, working of our mobile phone. If you remove your battery, will it works? It won't works. It works only when there is a battery. That means the electronic circuit will come into function, will start working its function, will start implementing its functionalities only after we give the DC signal. Because after we give the DC signal, what happens internal to the circuit? DC biasing is normally going to get achieved. Due to this DC biasing, the circuit becomes ready to process the signal. Now here in the case of the oscillator, there is no AC input signal. Without any AC input signal, it is producing the AC output signal. So obviously it is going to have DC. It is not, the DC is not for only oscillator. In fact, every electronic circuit needs a DC signal. You take microprocessor, it's going to have VCC. You take microcontroller, it's going to have VCC. You take an amplifier circuit, it's going to have VCC. You take any amplifier circuit, it has to be operated with VCC only. So VCC is going to be the internal part of the electronic circuit or a gadget. So it cannot be considered as the externally applied input signal. So therefore DC is not considered to be an externally applied input signal in the electronic gadgets or circuits. What is the difference between amplifier and oscillator? Amplifier is going to amplify the input signal. That means for an amplifier to operate, it requires an externally applied AC signal. A small externally applied AC signal is required for an amplifier to operate. Coming to oscillator, it generates output AC signal without any externally applied input signal. That is called oscillator. Now, in the previous session, we discussed about the gain of the amplifier oscillator. AF is equal to A by 1 plus A beta we have got. Okay. Okay, so now let us go to this block diagram. So we discussed about this block diagram in the previous sessions. An amplifier is going to be there and output of the amplifier is fed back to the input of the amplifier using the feedback network. Same story is going to be there here, but only thing is that this input Vs is not going to be there. That is why this Vs that I have shown you in the previous session, here I have drawn here as a dotted lines. What is the meaning of dotted lines? The meaning is that physically it is not there. Okay. That means physically we don't connect the Vs here. That means this is the circuit we have without any external applied input AC signal. It is going to produce the AC output. That is what called an oscillator now. So among the three configurations known as CB, CE and CC configurations, CE configuration is preferred for the amplifiers because it is going to give you a very good power gain. So now when you take a CE amplifier is going to give or provide 180 degrees phase shift. But we want 0 degrees phase shift at the output. Therefore, this feedback circuit is going to provide further 180 degrees phase shift. Thereby what happens? 180 plus 180, it is going to be 360 degrees. So the resultant waveform is going to get produced with a phase shift of 360 degrees or 0 degrees phase shift. So this diagram is showing when Vs is equal to 0, it is going to produce the output waveform. Okay. See here, the output of amplifier is inverted amplifier output we got. And the input of to the feedback is going to be same. The feedback network is going to introduce 180 degrees phase shift. That means this negative going cycle will be inverted back. It is going to be positive going cycle. So now this we apply it to here to the amplifier circuit, and amplifier is going to invert this waveform once again by 180 degrees. So therefore we normally going to get this kind of a inverted waveform circuit. So the next condition that we have to prove is going to be the Barkhausen criteria. For a sustained oscillations in an oscillator circuit, the circuit has to satisfy with the Barkhausen criteria. So what is Barkhausen criteria? Mod A beta should be equal to 1. Closed loop gain of an amplifier, the closed loop phase shift closed loop phase shift should be equal to 360 degrees or 2 pi radians or 0 degrees. So these two conditions are known as Barkhausen criteria. These are known as essential conditions for maintaining the sustained oscillations in the oscillator circuit. So therefore, we will write the essential condition known as Barkhausen criteria as mod A beta is equal to 1 and total phase shift of the circuit in the closed loop should be equal to 360 degrees or 0 degrees. So this is what the Barkhausen criteria that we can write it here. We prove here A beta is equal to 1. So how do we prove A beta is equal to 1? In order to prove this, let us say consider a inverting amplifier known as CE amplifier with a loop gain of capital A, so that it produces a phase shift between input and output as 180 degrees. Because CE amplifier is going to produce a phase shift of 180 degrees. If you apply the input signal with 0 degrees phase, output is going to be 180 degrees phase. Now the input voltage applied to the amplifier is to be derived from its output using the feedback. Then the gain of the amplifier becomes equal to AF. Now in general, what is A? A is nothing but is equal to V naught by V in. What is beta? VF by V out is nothing but beta. Now we use it here. V out is equal to, from the gain of the amplifier A is equal to V naught by V in. So V naught is equal to V in by A, V into A. So A into V in is equal to V out, because gain of the amplifier is equal to output by input. And what is beta? Beta is equal to VF by V out. So therefore VF is equal to V out into beta. So what is V out here? A into V in. So I can write A into V in for beta. Sorry, for V out. For V out, I'll write this as A into V in. So I can just take this A beta aside. Now I can get the equation as VF is equal to A beta into Vn. Now for oscillators to operate, what is that? What is the input to the oscillator? Output of feedback is known as input to the oscillator. Okay. What is this? There is no Vs. So input to the amplifier is given from the output of the feedback. That is Vf is the output. So Vf becomes equal to Vn. So that's what we are writing here. For an oscillators, we want the feedback should drive the amplifier, and hence the Vf must act as an input voltage Vin. So therefore I can write Vf is equal to Vin. So here I substitute for Vf as Vin. So Vin will get cancelled. I'll get simply A beta is equal to 1. So this is the one of the Barkhausen criteria. Mod A beta is equal to 1 is one of the Barkhausen criteria. Second condition is what? Closed loop phase shift is 360 degrees. That means if amplifier is producing 180 degrees phase shift, see the input to the amplifier is like this, 0 degrees phase, output is 180 degrees phase. It is inverted. Right. This is once again, this inverted signal is once again inverted back by the feedback network. Once again, it is starting at 0 degrees phase. Okay. That means the input to the amplifier is nothing but output from the feedback circuit. Now this is producing 180 degrees phase shift amplifier. Feedback is our feedback network is producing another 180 degrees phase shift. So 180 plus 180 put together, it will be 360 degrees phase shift provided by the entire circuit of the oscillator circuit. So these two conditions are going to be known as the Barkhausen criteria. Now the performance of the circuit depends on this criteria, of course, definitely. So what are the various conditions which normally going to come across based on these conditions? So in all the practical circuits, we should design the practical such that A beta should be always greater than 1, so that the amplitude of oscillations will continue to increase. So until it reaches to the maximum value, then the A beta will should become equal to 1. That is how it should happen in the oscillator circuits. So if mod A beta greater than 1, in this case, the output is normally going to be greater. That means product of these two greater than 1 means what? It is simply increasing. So therefore, we simply call this as growing type of oscillations. But the oscillations are growing up types. So therefore, the amplitude of oscillations goes on increasing in this type. If it is less than 1, it is going to get decay. That known as damping oscillations. So In this case, oscillations are going to decay because it is less than 1. So the amplitude is going to come towards 0 if mod A beta is less than 1. So therefore, this is not going to be the condition for oscillator to implement. If A beta is equal to 1, it is going to produce the sustained oscillations. So that is what the three conditions that we normally going to have it here. So for an oscillator to operate, we need to compulsorily somehow satisfy this condition to get a sustained oscillations. What is the starting voltage of the amplifier circuit here in oscillators? In general, what is the thing we have? Do we get any output without any input? The answer is no. If you don't give any input, you never get any output. If you give some input, then only you get some output. Now, where from this input signal is coming into the amplifier circuit so that it can amplify it in the very beginning condition. So that is what called a noise pulse. Noise pulse will be generated as in when you switch on the VCC. Now, amplifier is going to operate with VCC. As in when you switch on the VCC, it is going to generate a noise spike. And this noise spike is propagated to the beta and it has been added as a pulsating AC signal to the input of this. And that is simply been further amplified, and it is normally going to produce the oscillations finally. That means because of the noise signal produced in the internal circuit of the oscillations are normally going to get produced in the oscillator circuit. So that is what one of the important point here. So here it is mentioned that no external input is required in the case of oscillators. The oscillator output supplies its own input under some proper conditions. So what is that condition now? The obvious question is, if no input is required, how oscillations are going to start? How we get the AC signal at the output? And where does the starting voltage come from? So every resistance has some free electrons. Under the influence of room temperature, these free electrons move randomly in various directions. Such movement generates a voltage called noise voltage. That means here, this is what I was talking, this noise voltage is going to increase as in when you switch on the power supply, because the power supply, when you switch on, the voltage suddenly jumps from 0 to 1, 0 to high. That means 0 to say 10 volts VCC. So there what happens? The free electrons are normally going to move inside the resistors. It generates a noise voltage. Such noise voltage present across the resistances are simply amplified in the amplifier circuit. Hence, to amplify such small voltage and to start the oscillations, mod A beta is kept greater than unity at the starting point. Until it reaches to stability, A beta should be greater than 1. Such amplified voltage appears at the output terminals. So the part of this output is sufficient enough to drive the input of the amplifier circuit. Then in a cumulative fashion, so the amplifier output is applied to the feedback is applied to the amplifier is further going to amplify signal. Like that, the amplifier is going to produce the oscillations without any input signal. So we go with this last topic now to end up our session with this topic, that is classification of oscillators. In the very beginning session, we discussed about classification of amplifiers. Amplifiers are classified based on its configuration like CE, CB, CC. As well as amplifiers are classified based on the feedback, whether it is positive feedback or negative feedback. If it is positive feedback, it can be called as an oscillators. Oscillator amplifiers can be classified based on the single stage or multi-stage amplifiers. So if you connect more than one amplifier, it is called a multi-stage amplifier. If you got only one single stage, it is going to be, that means single stage. That means based on the type of the cascading, amplifiers are normally called as cascading amplifiers, cascoded type of the amplifiers. So based on the firing angle of the amplifiers can be called as class A, class B, class C, class D type of the power amplifiers. Are based on the power levels that it can operate. This can also be called as the power amplifiers. Based on the frequency of the amplifiers, they can be called as audio frequency amplifiers, radio frequency amplifiers, high frequency amplifiers, microwave frequency amplifier, so on and so forth. So that means they are all going to be the classification of amplifiers. Similar to that, under amplifiers, you got oscillators. Under amplifiers, you got type of the feedback. Type of the feedback mentioned. If the type of feedback is positive, you normally going to get an oscillator circuit. Now, under the oscillators, once again, oscillators are classified based on the different categories. What are they that we have to discuss? Okay. First one is according to the waveforms generated. The output, the oscillations can be sine wave. It can be a non-sinusoidal waveform. So if the oscillators are going to be sine wave, it can be called as sinusoidal oscillators or harmonic oscillators. And you may get a triangular waveform. It's called relaxation oscillators. And you may get one more that is not mentioned, square wave oscillators called as stable multivibrators. So if at all you want to generate square waves, that means like clock signal applied to the microprocessor or microcontroller is nothing but a square wave. That means square wave oscillators. So like that, based on the type of the waveform generated, usually we are going to have the sinusoidal waveform, triangular waveform, and square waveform. Based on that, we call them as the oscillators are classified based on its type of the output signal. Usually they come under sinusoidal and non-sinusoidal. Non-sinusoidal, it is going to be called as relaxation oscillators and square wave oscillators. So like that, we're going to have based on the type of the waveform generated. Then according to the fundamental feedback mechanism involved, negative resistance oscillators, mechanism of operation, not feedback, according to the fundamental mechanism of operation involved, known as negative resistance oscillators and feedback oscillators. Feedback oscillators are basically from the positive feedback amplifiers. Negative resistance oscillator is nothing but UJT relaxation oscillator, known as negative resistance oscillators. And according to the frequency generated by the oscillator. So they can be called as audio frequency oscillators, radio frequency oscillators, very high frequency oscillators, ultra high frequency, microwave frequency oscillator circuits. So audio frequency oscillators are used in the audio frequency applications as a source of the input to the circuit. Radio frequency applications. So like that, microwaves, at microwave circuits, we normally use this. The next is going to be according to the type of the circuit used in the oscillator circuit, known as LC tuned circuits and RC phase shift oscillators. According to this, we're going to have one more called as Wien bridge oscillator, RC phase shift and Wien bridge. So one oscillator is RC type, another one is going to be LC type. Under RC type, you're going to have RC phase shift oscillator and Wien bridge oscillator. Under LC type, you're going to have Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator. And one more is going to be crystal oscillators. So like this, the oscillators can be classified based on its circuit that is used in the oscillator circuit, based on the components used in the oscillator circuit. So like this is what the basics of the oscillator circuits. And in the next session, what we'll do is we'll try to go with the various types of oscillators. We'll start our discussion with the LC oscillators. Now, from next class onwards, we come up with so many derivations. So once again, you have to start practicing the derivations. So therefore, please keep practicing all this, whatever that you're listening to daily. Please keep on practicing so that it becomes easy for you at the time of the end examination. Okay. So practice. That is only the mantra in AEC subject. Thank you so much for today's session.